I didn't think anything was wrong with me until I found out I'm technically a mutant. Not the superhero kind, but the kind that makes your body run slower, detox harder, and age faster without you realizing it. And here's the wild part. A majority of people have it and most don't even know. So let's get into what it is, how you can tell if you have it, and what to do about it. Because you may be a mutant too. A few videos back, I mentioned this gene in passing, and in the comments, a lot of people wanted to know more. So I dug a little deeper and found more information for you. Let's start simple. Because when you understand how this gene works, you finally see why you can do all the right things and still feel off. Personally, I was about 2 years into the carnivore diet. And let me say, I know nowadays carnivore looks different for everyone. But for me, it was all kinds of meat and eggs. And yes, coffee with heavy whipping cream. But I ate very little dairy. I treated it more like a treat. I'd seen big improvements in my health, but I continued to have short nights of sleep and I would toss and turn. And I hadn't seen the number on the scale move for months. Even when I tried completely dairy-free for weeks, nothing changed. So after a doctor's visit and some new blood work, she brought up something I'd never even heard of before, the MTHFR gene. And that was a game changer. So what exactly is this mysterious gene and why has no one told us about it before? MTHFR stands for, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher this, methylene tetrahydrofolate methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. And yes, the abbreviation looks like a cuss word, which honestly feels fitting once you learn what it does. MTHFR is a gene that helps your body use folate. It turns the food you eat into a usable form through a process called methylation. That methylated folate is what drives detox, hormone balance, brain chemistry, and energy production. When there's a mutation in this gene, it dials back the process and your body cannot efficiently methylate the folic acids we consume. Think of it like a dimmer switch. When it's bright, everything hums along. You have a clear mind, you have a steady mood, and you even get some good sleep. But when it's turned down, you feel dimmer. You have slower thinking, lower energy, and you're more easily overwhelmed. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nancy, and I help women over 50 reclaim their health and live the life they want. I talk about the real things that keep us stuck. Sleep, stress, hormones, you name it, and get us feeling unstuck and feeling good again in the second half of life. And this is one of the things that I've learned about along the way. Now, the truth is close to 60% of Americans have a version of this gene. You get one copy from your mom and one copy from your dad. And if you have just that one copy, your enzyme still works, just slower, maybe around 60 to 70% of normal speed. Your body can usually keep up if you're eating well and you're managing your stress. But if you have two copies, one from each parent, and that enzyme runs much slower, sometimes only 20 to 30% of normal. That's when you start noticing things like fatigue, poor sleep, or mood swings that don't match your circumstances. Wait, what? That never happens. So while 60% of people carry at least one copy, a smaller portion have both, and those are usually the ones who feel it the most. Honestly, I hadn't even heard of this gene until about 2 years ago. Back to those labs that I was talking about. They came back with low folate, and that made no sense. I'd been carnivore for years, eating nutrient-dense foods like eggs and beef. At my practitioner's suggestion, I started taking 5-MTHF. This is actually the active form of folate that skips the broken part of the system and gives our body what it can use right away. And this was one of the missing pieces to help me regain control over my sleep. And if you want to know more about that, I did create a video that talks about that more, and I'll leave it linked below. Here's the part that matters to us as women over 50. If you've been doing everything right, you're eating clean, you're managing your stress load, you make sure you get your sleep dialed in, and you're still feeling off, Pay attention to the following signs that may be a signal that you too have this gene. Low energy that never lifts. Mood swings or anxiety that seem to come out of nowhere. Headaches, poor sleep, or brain fog that won't quit. Maybe supplements make you feel worse instead of better. Or you find you're very sensitive to smells and chemicals. If depression, ADHD, or anxiety run in your family, that's another big clue it could be genetic. This gene helps with the production of serotonin and dopamine, hence the link to brain chemistry and sleep. These are the kinds of signs that make it worth asking your doctor about methylation or the MTHFR testing. I look back at my own life. I've struggled with depression on and off over the years, even postpartum depression. At the time, I thought it was just hormones or stress. But now I can see that my body was running low on active folate even back then. And for years, estrogen has carried the weight. It's kept things in balance and helped my body recycle folate, even if that gene was slowing things down. But once estrogen dropped in menopause, that backup system faded, and all the symptoms that were quiet suddenly got loud. So many of us walk around tired and foggy, blaming our hormones or our age, never realizing that our body's dimmer switch is half dimmed. But on another note, here's why carnivore didn't cure me as it does dozens of other health issues. Even though carnivore gives me plenty of nutrients, if my MTHFR enzyme runs slow, I can't fully activate the folate in foods like eggs or liver. The folate's there, but it's stuck in the inactive form. By taking the 5-MTHF, I'm giving my body the finished product, the active form it can use right away. But carnivore also helped in a second way. By removing the fortified foods that contain synthetic folic acid, which is a fake version that can block real folate if you have this mutation, and by clearing out and adding the active form, everything finally started to click. If you want to see whether MTHFR might be a part of your puzzle, try removing the dietary noise. That's why carnivore works so well. When you take out sugars, carbs, and processed food, you remove all the fake folate that clogs up your receptors. It's like turning down the static so you can finally hear your body's real signal. And the bonus? Carnivore naturally supports hormone balance. It reduces inflammation in your body, and it stabilizes mood and energy, things that all matter to us even more after 50. Say like me, you had your suspicions. What else can you do? Here are a few practical steps. First, try a carnivore reset. It removes the noise and gives you a clearer picture of how you really feel. If you're curious and you want to learn more about carnivore in an easy and clear way, I've created a first 7 days on carnivore starter pack for you and have it linked in the description below. It's specifically geared towards women over 50 and you can get started on it right away. Second, ask your doctor for a homocysteine test. If it's high, that's your sign methylation might be off. Or third, if you want absolute confirmation, it's a bit more expensive, but you can do a simple genetic test for MTHFR. But honestly, you'll probably know just by how your body responds once you start supporting it with clean eating. So in the end, you may find that you're a mutant, but you're not broken. You're just running a system that needs the right kind of support. And once you understand how your body's wired, you can stop fighting it and finally feel like yourself again. This isn't about chasing labels. It's about understanding your body. The goal isn't perfection. It's peace and progress. I'm not a doctor, but I want to share what I'm learning in the hopes that it can help you. And if this connected some dots for you, hit subscribe and don't forget to check out that free 7-day carnivore starter pack below. Because when you understand your body, healing gets a whole lot simpler.